I can stick to my bar. Hello, everybody! Yay! Happy New Year! Almost, anyway. But yeah, it is UK Cowboys TV, Season 2, Episode 97. It is, of course, as well the pre-game show for this Sunday's matchup versus the Giants. An extremely and very important game. Will help decide what happens with the postseason for the Cowboys. But yeah, we are back. Hope you've all had a lovely Christmas. I'm sure everyone's carrying a little bit of holiday weight. That's going to be my excuse. My holiday weight seems to last all 12 months. How are you guys, though?
Fat as fuck.
Okay, that's fair.
I can't beat that.
Literally, FAT as fuck.
Yes, but as I said, it is the New Year special. So it's not just myself here today. We have the 2020 and the 2021 of UK Cowboys TV, Mr. Graham and Mr. Paul Stewart with us. That's right.
Hello.
That's how we're doing this.
Is it up to the viewers to decide which is which?
If you want, yeah, why not?
Judging by this season of podcast, I'm probably 2020. Let's.
Don't put yourself down like that. But guys, everybody who's at home, make sure you grab yourself a beer, a wine, whatever it is that happens to be your poison for the night. We are all having a drink here. I'm on the Buffalo Trace. Very nice. Do highly recommend it.
I'm on the Desperados tonight, and also,
faithful.
And also,
oh mate.
oh yeah.
For anyone at home wondering what that's about, that's Mad Dog and
the Americans know that. The Americans know that.
Off air, we talk a lot about Mad Dog. But yes, just though for one point, the fantasy football section we usually run at the end of the show, that is done with, because obviously there are some crazy people out there playing week 17 fantasy football. I think you're mad if you are, because how the hell are you ever supposed to do anything with that? But congratulations to all the winners that's in the UK Cowboys leagues that we run, the Dynasty leagues, and the league me and Paul were in with the Cowboys creators as well. But any league you're in, well done to all the champions.
Yeah, I want to give a big shout out to Flag Runner Cruz, man.
Flag Runner.
Yeah, he beat me in the final by a long shot. He had bloody Alvin Kamara, so I had no chance.
I was going to say. I seen he had Alvin Kamara.
56 points by one player, 6 touchdowns. Was it 6 touchdowns?
Yes, it was. Yeah, he had over 50 points.
Yeah, well, put it this way, after that one player, I was just like, nah, game's a bogey. That's like, I was like literally in the comments in Sleeper app saying to, yeah, dude, congrats, you've won this already. I'm just like, game's over.
And he was he said, it's a cheap way to win a fantasy league. It is what it is, though. That's fantasy for you. All wrapped up. neatly in a nutshell. But guys, let us know as well throughout the show if you've got any thoughts, feelings about not just the Cowboys game, because there is, in replacement of the fantasy section, we're going to look at the other game that's really important this weekend, which is the Washington Eagles game. So we'll touch into it. Don't have to get too complicated, but send us your feelings and thoughts, and give us your comments as well on what you think the scores will be, who's going to play well, who you expecting to play well, who we looking for. Just join in generally, because about halfway through this, we're going to be too drunk to talk anyway. So, right then, guys, let's get into the latest news and injury updates, and then we can break into some talk here. So first of all, we got some questionables. So we got Cheeto, who's with a hammy. We got Donovan Wilson, who's questionable with illness. It's not COVID. So I think it looks like he's going to play. Zach Martin, he's down as doubtful. But I put a post up yesterday. Jerry came out on 105 The Fan, said Zach Martin is not going to play. He's practicing, but they want him more ready for the playoffs. Fingers crossed if that happens. Zeke with a calf, but he's probable. Yeah, he's probable. Xavier Woods, he's questionable again with his ribs. Darian Thompson, he's in concussion protocol, so safety being the issue. But on the other side, there's some very big notables for the Giants. Evan Ingram doesn't look like he's going to be playing. He may be shut down for the season, so that's one of the big threats. The other big threat, their wide receiver, Sterling Shepard, he's questionable. Also, put onto IR is their other wide receiver, Sills. He's pretty much done. And all their running backs. So, and that is Devontae Freeman on there too. Devontae Freeman, pretty much their entire running back core, they're all questionable. Which is very interesting because the Cowboys' biggest issue is the run defense, and that was a massive firework that just went off. I'm waiting to hear if the dog kicks off. We're safe. But if we just briefly touch on to the injury update, guys, anybody there that you're worried about on both sides?
Well, I wasn't. I know you're not mentioning them, but I was kind of worried about Antoine Woods at one point. But I think
he's done for the season.
Yeah, I spoke to him on his Twitch stream and that. See how he's doing and stuff like that. He said he's like, nah, it's not looking pretty good. So I'm like, so pretty much out the season. He's like, I don't want to admit it, but I'll let that. He's pretty saying I'll let the Cowboy staff decide that. But he wants to play regardless if he's got a leg or no arms, pretty much. So
that's always the player's way,
and that's the attitude we need. That is the attitude.
Yeah, it is. As I say, it's always the player's way. It was like with Trayvon Diggs. You know, he's walking around on crutches, and he was like, "Yeah, I might be playing next week," and it's like, "No, you're really not."
Yeah, concerning that. You said Donovan Wilson, didn't you?
Yeah.
And Cheeto. You know, we don't have great depth in the secondary. No. Just glad we've got Diggs back. It's always a bit touch and go with the secondary, and you just want as many guys in there as possible to make things a little bit smoother. But with them having Shepard out, you know, that's
it looks that way. Yeah, I mean, their other wide receiver still, he's done. He's down on IR. The only big one really that's looking to come back is their outside linebacker, Fackrell. He looks like he's going to be coming back, and that's a big one because he can create turnovers. So here we go. That is our update. So guys, let's get into some offensive talk then. And we can
just before you jump in at that, just to say thanks for guys for coming into the show so far. Ronald, Valente, Floyd, Gary, appreciate you guys coming in, and of course Lorne as well. So guys, keep the comments coming in as we go on talking about the offense here.
Yeah, and we'll do a big shout out to everyone at the end of the show as well for the year. As I put on one of our comments before, you're our MVPs out there. So, yeah. Let's get into then, guys, the offensive talk. So, really, the big thing that stands out for me straight away, right? Cowboys are on a 3-game winning streak. Believe it or not, the Giants, who were hot mid-season, are now at the moment on a 7-game losing streak. Yeah. But what is interesting, the big one for me, is just the last 3 games for both teams. And we'll break it all down as we go along. The first thing I want to do, and I don't know, I'll let you guys talk on this. I wanted to give our offensive line coach, Joe Philbin, a lot of credit for what the O-line have done, especially on this run the last 3 games. What do you guys think?
Absolutely. I mean, I suppose Kellen Moore deserves a bit of recognition as well.
100%, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, for an offensive line coach, it is different. It must be difficult to try and get backups and first stringers to be in the same wavelength for the starters. So that takes a lot of game film, a lot of preparation, a lot of one-to-one interaction with the players. Mm-hmm. So he had his work cut out for him for this whole season. So there's a lot of credit to Joe, a lot of credit to him.
Yeah. Well, what do you think, Gray? I know you're usually quite critical of the O-line.
Yeah, it's trending upward. It's encouraging because, like to throw in guys off the street, basically like undrafted rookies and so on.
Yeah.
But for us to glue together a 3-game winning streak and still be in with a shout at the division, despite the season we've had, you mean the previous 16 weeks are out the window now. It all comes down to this week. We can forget about the rest. We can forget about all the bad criticisms we've had with them. They've had, most of them have had a full season. Connor Williams is about to have a full season. Yeah. We've got 2 tackles in there that are starting to hold down the position a little bit. We've got Zach Martin coming back potentially for January as well, if it does come to that. So it is trending up. We've got a little bit of consistency now with Looney as well.
Yeah. I know, shot corner in that one.
Yeah.
I know. It's great to see because certainly there was an awful lot of doubt on who were going to be the 5 guys. Like there were points in the pre-game show we didn't know who the tackles were going to be, and this was on Thursday night, Friday morning. We're still questioning about who the guys were going to be. So. Philbin, I think, has done a great job, especially to have so many rookies in there and so many young players as well. Because we forget that Williams and McGovern are not seasoned professionals yet. They've still got some of the best talent in the league coming at them, so it's going to take a little bit of while. They're not star-studded first-round picks, so there is going to be a little bit of work in there. But certainly in terms of experience, there's nothing that beats getting on the field. And if we can figure out the 5 guys across the line, it makes things an awful lot easier for the draft because you feel like you don't have to dip into the draft quite as heavy. If you feel ready to go ahead with Steele or Knight, it can be done. It can be done. Certainly, the best way to get better is by playing, and we. By hook or by crook, we're forced into these guys, but less and less it's looking more of a force, and it is encouraging to see them hold down the position for a change. That is good.
Yeah, and like you say, and the crazy thing to there we go. I was just about to mention that the various combinations that there have been, but bear in mind he's had to do all this in a year that we've had where he can't directly at times interact with the team. He's had to do it all virtual, and I think that's where there's the uptick as well in what gives you the thumbs up to what Joe's done. But just to put it in perspective, mind you, some of it is statistical. Now, all you've got to look at is in the last 4 games, the O-line's only given up 6 sacks. So that's not bad.
It's better than what we've been doing before.
Exactly. But the big one that the stats don't show that I think is very interesting is how the offensive linemen in the run game have been moving defensive linemen off the ball. And you're seeing that an awful lot more, which is creating running lanes. And as a result, you're seeing the likes of Tony Pollard and Zeke getting consistent 100-yard games. And in the last 3 games, this is going back to my last 3-game talk, you're seeing it happening, 100-yard games from your running backs. Lo and behold, it all starts with the O-line.
Yeah. And now you kind of just briefly mentioned Zeke. We're actually starting to see game by game, Zeke is now becoming more himself, not just physically, but up here. And I find, like, I kind of mentioned this in the show on Tuesday, but what if, like, it could be the fact that this injury was so maybe lingering on for so X amount of weeks, not the ones that it was already mentioned. That could be having the downfall on how Zeke was performing, and that could have an effect on his mental state of playing the game. So now that he feels more confident, he feels he's 100%. We saw in the end result in that last game there, he looked hungry running that ball.
I mean, the thing as well that is, like, a lot of people who were talking about Zeke and all the rest of it, bear in mind the guy only needs 63 yards in this game to have another 1,000-yard season. So people are saying how bad he's playing. He's nearly at 1,000 yards. And that is, like, really a minimum benchmark. I know when you're talking Zeke and, you know, we're talking about the cap costs and all the rest of it, you want to see more than that. But at the end of the day, he's also facing a lot of stack boxes. So if you're a running back facing the most stack boxes in the NFL, which he is, and he's getting 1,000-yard season, I'm not going to argue with that.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think Alfie's comment, I think that is related to Zeke, I believe. He did have COVID, so
he did.
That could have earlier implications leading into the season. So,
and not just that, I think it's the double-edged sword with it, that him directly getting it, as well as it affecting the team in terms of that
the morale,
practicing all the rest of it. Because at the end of the day, the offensive line, it's a dance. Everyone thinks.
And not to put an excuse in there, is his two-way communication with Dak.
Yeah,
like, not having Dak there, that can affect a running back's mentality as well. Like, it could be a different way how the ball has been handed over, and not to mention how many quarterbacks.
Terminology.
Yeah, exactly. Like, how many quarterbacks we've actually played with this season outside of Andy Dalton? We had Gabbert, we had Ben DiNucci. And there was the whole talk about, Cooper Rush could have been starting at one game out at some point, and we're like, oh no. So, for as a running back, you're like, I don't even know who my quarterback's going to be. That could throw a whole lot of spanners into the works here. So that could be another reason as well. So I just wanted to kind of add that point in there.
But here's the crazy thing. Oh, go on, Greg.
I challenge any star running back in the league to have the similar season they have when you remove 4 starters on the offensive line.
Yeah,
that's going to affect anybody, whether they've had COVID or not.
Yeah, and then you put 2 undrafted free agents in there.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean? And then they can't practice all together, so the whole thing's out of whack. But just to put this in perspective for you, I've got a quote which I thought it is quite good about Zeke's mentality and his character. That we were talking about a 1,000-yard season, and he got asked the question that, look, you're very close to another 1,000-yard season. How does that make you feel? And he turned around, and this is his direct quote. He said, "To get 1,000 yards, it would mean a lot. I'm not really worried about it. I want to win the football game and get a shot with the playoffs. But I mean, getting 1,000 yards in this league, it's not easy. It's definitely not easy, and it is an accomplishment. But it's not something I'm focused on."
He's right, though. He is right, because
team comes first.
Exactly, it's a team sport.
Yeah.
Like as long as you can put points on the board and get us the win, that's the most important thing. Anything personal achievements, that'll go into the history books, whatever, for your legacy and stuff like that. But in terms of getting a really good solid legacy, it's getting those Super Bowl rings. That's the cream of the crop, and that's what should every single player, doesn't matter what position that you're playing, that should be the number one goal: is get a ring, get a Super Bowl ring.
I mean, we've seen so many running backs go well over 1,500 yards and still not make the playoffs.
Oh God,
So-
what's his name? Mine when Devontae Freeman did amazing for Atlanta that one season. Never even made the playoffs that year.
Did the Panthers make the playoffs last year with McCaffrey?
No, I don't think so.
No.
I mean, it's all well and good for their personal numbers, and it isn't a huge achievement, but it's going to sting if you're sitting on the couch watching the playoffs. You know, I'm sure McCaffrey would trade 1,000 of his yards to be in the postseason.
Oh, absolutely.
You know,
Yeah.
so
I would say if any player says no, I'd rather take my yards, then I'm sorry about that. I wouldn't want that player in my team. I'm sorry, I wouldn't want that.
Yeah, I totally agree. And it's funny there that we just had Gary, and I'm going to use this as a segue because I'm going back to what we're talking about, the last 3 games. And I'm keying a lot of what I'm talking about on the last 3 games for a reason. Because it is so the teams, the Cowboys and the Giants, are so far apart in terms of the last 3 games, which are the most important. But the last 3 games, as Gary said, Pollard has had a huge positive impact. That's on the running game and Zeke. But here it is. In the last 4 games, I know I said 3, but I went back and done 4 on this one. At the start of the season, Pollard was getting, on average, for the first half of the season, 2.3 touches a game. All right? Mm-hmm. In the last 4 games, bear in mind San Francisco, he was the RB1, but we're going to still include it. But in his last 4 games, so the last game, 9 touches. San Francisco, 12. The one before that, 11. The one before that, 8. So you can see that, and that's going in reverse order. So you can see he had 8 touches, then it went to 11, then it was 12, back to 9. So you can see that just in that, and it has an impact on Zeke and the running game. And all of a sudden, Zeke's getting 100-yard games. Pollard's getting 60-yard games. And funnily enough, the one thing we were all talking about in the offseason, you know, when we were talking about Team 40 Burger, the offense will help the defense. And that is what we've seen in the last 3 games.
Yeah.
All on the run game. Yeah, I remember very well the conversation we had about the running backs, and I said, I think I said about the time that I was concerned that I was concerned about the touches for Pollard because we had 3 stud receivers, we had a tight end that we just paid in Blake Jarwin, and you've got Zeke. Where are you supposed to give Tony Pollard the ball? But clearly they've gone for a more measured approach in December. Yeah. They seem to trust him with extended carries, and he is a change of pace back, like we've always talked about. But my concern at the time was, how are you going to give Pollard so much of the ball with 4 studs in front of him? But they seem to be measuring it very well. They seem to be measuring it very well down the stretch, which is great because we're into the business end of the season now.
Yeah, I mean, I think that is, again, I think this is kind of down to Kellen Moore in terms of what plays he's recognizing. It's like you make the offense think you're going to pass the ball. Instead, you actually run the ball and you actually might throw a screen pass to Pollard or to Zeke. Like, he is mixing up quite well, and it's actually benefit. I can't even say it. Benefiting quite a lot of the players, like offensive.
that Mad Dog's kicking in.
I haven't even opened it yet.
It's the fumes then. It's just the fumes.
Yeah, so but you get what I mean, like with the wide receivers, they're getting a fair share. Like even the wide receivers, they're getting split like catches between each other. Like, and it's now seems to be happening with the running back. So it's like seems to be all, and don't forget Dalton Schultz, he's still getting his fair catches as well. So it's like we're just given so many options to throw about.
Yeah, no, I'm totally with you. But I mean, another big one is taking the lead, and that is what we're doing. Is we're taking the lead, we're getting our strikes in early, going ahead, and then using our running game, which is like Graham was saying. We were talking all about this in the off season. Now, all of a sudden, at the tail end of the season or the business end, when we're trying to get into the playoffs, is where it's all clicking into place now. Yeah. It seems to be solidifying. Going back, looking at the O-line, You're seeing these changes. You're seeing that they're moving guys off the ball, and it's having an effect. One thing, though, guys, is that it is having an effect. Is Andy Dalton?
Yeah,
he's going.
He's turned it on.
Well, he's going above a 500 QB right now. He's above that.
Here's one for you, right? Here we go. Last 3 games. In the last 3 games, amongst all the quarterbacks, he is the 4th quarterback in the league in quarterback rating, passing yards, and passing touchdowns.
Wow.
In all of those categories.
Yeah, it's almost as if they're kind of using the inexperience of the offensive line to roll Dalton out a little bit more. I see him doing an awful lot more outside the pocket, particularly on the long bomb to Cooper during the Eagles game. So it's almost as if they're addressing the fact that they can't always protect him in the pocket, and they're scheming rollouts.
Yeah.
Which I think helps, which gives Dalton those 3 seconds to get rid of the ball.
I love that you went there, because I've written this down, right? Now, Andy Dalton, when he was in Cincinnati, was renowned for distributing the ball very, very quickly, right? At the moment, he's getting the ball off in the last 3 games, going back to the 3 games, he is getting the ball off in the 3rd fastest time. He releases the ball in 2.49 seconds. That is quick.
Yeah,
he's renowned for it, and it seems to be now that it's all clicking into place.
For a quarterback, you should be always trying to be under less than 3 seconds.
Yeah. I mean, that's your timing routes and the whole thing, yeah. But here's a crazy one. Last 3 games, we were talking about Team 40 Burger. They're averaging 36 points per game.
It's so weird that you're saying that we're averaging 36 points per game. That's just crazy to think that, and this is without Dak in the team as well.
Yeah. And one of those games was without Zeke and without a full-fledged O-line. Using, as we talked about, Joe Philbin's put together O-line. 1 minute. I'm just topping up my Buffalo Trace.
What we're kind of on that. I just want to kind of make a wee comment about the comment from DJ Dog here. We still have a shot at making the playoffs, dude. We still have a shot, bro.
Yeah,
we still have a shot.
We'll break into all of that. The other game, the other important game.
Yep.
But here's one for you guys. Amari Cooper, wide receiver 1, over 1,000 yards for the season. Posted an interesting stat up. He is the 11th player in NFL history to have 5 1,000-yard seasons at the start of his career.
Yeah. Draft capital and money well spent.
Absolutely.
I only want to say one thing. Graham, do you want to take everything back you ever said about him?
I don't think I was ever critical of.
No, you weren't out on him. You were more worried about the cap cost.
The
cap cost was the issue.
It was, and to be fair, we have previous in Roy Williams. But I think
Des at the end of his career.
Yeah, I think that the one with Cooper, it was a disconnect with the Raiders. It was a disconnect in why it didn't work out. And then for him to go and take the lesser money to stay with the Cowboys, I think it, again, is against the grain. I think I had every reason to say that he would be off. But it just goes to show what a special player he is for us. To get that huge contract and to still churn in the performances that he does every week, it's refreshing. Because so many times you see players earn their money and all of a sudden the stats fall off and they get a little bit of indigestion after eating all that guaranteed money and it doesn't happen for them. But Cooper's a standout professional. Delighted he's still with us. And he's one of those few occasions where you can say we traded well and we spent well and we're reaping the benefits of it.
Yeah.
And here's the thing as well, like when it comes to Cooper, he's not getting the right recognition from the media, and that's just purely because of his. That's just where Amari is. He just doesn't want to take any part in the media obligations or be in the limelight. He just wants to play football. It's plain and simple. He wants to go out there and play ball. That's what I love about Amari Cooper. Love it. Like, he just keeps his head down and gets on the job, and he's actually helped Michael Gallup in that same mindset as well. I mean, when you think about it, if all the wide receivers, like, we've got 3 amazing wide receivers in our, like, if all the years, right, where we've had Dez, Michael Irvin, like T.O. to 12 Owens, where's the influence and the flamboyance and all that? Like, we've never had a quiet wide receiver group in terms of talking, but they're out there putting it out in the field every single time. Like, there's no trash talk towards other players. They're just being whatever, head down. That's it.
Yeah, and like, I don't get it misconstrued that I'm saying that Cooper is the same, but a player who is exactly that way was Megatron. Megatron was very quiet. I'm not saying Coop's Megatron, but Megatron was very quiet. You wouldn't see him in the clubs. He'd go home, he'd be with his family, or he'd have the boys over and have a barbecue.
Well, the reason why Megatron was so popular because he branded himself. He gave himself a brand, and that's why like, he was more of a known. But you're right, he was a quiet individual himself, but he made himself
just football
outside the football with his clothing line as well.
Yeah. You're right there. Yeah, all exactly the same. But here's a crazy one, and we had.
That's true, dog. He did take less to come to Dallas, did he? Did.
Yeah, and he even made that publicly known as well. He turned around and said, "Look, I'm willing to pay for less." And that's probably one of the very few times we ever heard Cooper talking. But here's one for you. DJ Dog also made a comment about Cooper catching slants.
Yes.
And here is something I wanted to give to you, that Amari Cooper on his slant routes has, in the last 3 games, and I'm keep going back to these last 3 games, 152 yards and a touchdown. That's the second most in the NFL off slant routes.
Who's number 1?
Allen Robinson.
Oh, well, for the Bears, yeah, I can't argue with that.
It just goes to show. I mean,
I amazed myself that I remembered that. Someone has a subscription from PFF.
Well, you are an encyclopedia minded of all football, Mike. So
I'm just very sad. I lead a sad life.
I mean, I suppose that's why they call it the quick slant, really, because you get the ball out. So if you've got an ineffective offensive line, you've got a QB that wants to get rid of the ball, and you've got such a sharp route runner as Cooper, perfect. Yeah. A perfectly run quick slant is devastating.
Oh,
yeah.
Steve,
here we go. Steve's in.
But long time no see, my friend.
But the reason, and you took the words out of my mouth there, is the reason I looked into that was going back to Andy Dalton's release time. That, he's releasing the pass so quick, 3rd fastest in the NFL. Goes back to then. Amari Cooper on these quick slants. You took the words out of my mouth. You put the two together, and you can see now that there's that connection. And the reason that I'm going there is where the New York Giants on defense fail, which is the quick pass. All coming together in the last 3 games. They're going on a downward spiral in the middle of the field. So that puts us in good stead. Nice. But here's another one. Last 3 games, another guy playing from the slot, CeeDee Lamb, 222 yards from the slot.
Wow.
Not bad.
For a rookie.
For a rookie. And you said, Paul, about Amari Cooper going under the radar. NFL not talking about him. 1,000-yard season. Yeah. Leading the Dallas Cowboys. Everybody at the moment is talking Justin Jefferson, right? Saying this rookie sensation. CeeDee Lamb, right there from the slot, leading the NFL. He leads the NFL from the slot, and he's a rookie.
But here's the thing, right? Like, everyone talks about Justin Jefferson. Don't get me wrong, like, he is a great player. Like, he's doing great for Minnesota, but he's converting more points than the board. Like
touchdowns.
Touchdowns
is what.
He's getting more than limelight for that. And in terms of fantasy football, yeah, the media giants are going, "Oh, Justin Jefferson." No. So,
how much Mad Dog have you had?
Still not open it yet.
Open it. Come on.
I'll tell you this though.
After this channel,
I'll tell you this though. If things go well for us on Sunday night, they'll be talking about CeeDee Lamb and not Justin Jefferson, because Justin Jefferson is not playing in January.
That is very true.
Yeah, that's
but
true.
Here's one for you, right, guys? I want to ask your question. The fact we have two wide receivers playing at the top of the game. I'll get to Michael Gallup in a moment, but I just want to key in on these two guys, right? Because I do have
yes.
Where are we? Okay.
Great.
That is very true. It is his yards after the catch. You know, we were saying when we were giving our scouting report during the draft period, they said, what is it about CeeDee Lamb? One is his catch ability, and the second one is his yak. The guy is what we call the yak daddy. When you give him the ball and you give him open field, he's gone. Yards after catch. I know our listeners are very intelligent. They know what that is, but just in case we got a couple of people joining in, like
we're here for everybody.
We're here for everyone. Yeah.
Yes.
But here's my question to you, right? Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb both going under the radar, right? Because they're not in the media that much. Is that a good thing?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah,
means there's a less distraction and lets them focus.
Yes.
Lets them focus when they. Like, this is what I was kind of saying earlier on. It's like they're keeping themselves to themselves, not getting involved with the media, trying to stay out of the media. It's going to help them in terms of being better football players. And it's funny that you mentioned that, like, when you were talking about the whole Megatron thing, the only thing he ever did was the whole media brand, but he never made public appearances as much as other players in the team or for Detroit or whatever and that. And it came to show, like, he stuck to his roots and played the game of football, and he was so good at his job, and we're seeing that with our receiver core. Like, even all three of them are in the same mindset, and they're progressing every game now.
Yeah. 100%. I mean, I'm totally with you guys. Do we think, and I'll ask all you guys at home as well, Zeke is 63 yards off a 1,000-yard season. Does he get it this season in this game?
I think he could. I think he possibly could. I mean, like you were saying...
I don't want possibly. Yeah or no?
Boy.
I've had a beer.
Stop getting your mankini in that twist to you.
How do you know I got a mankini?
You told me before, mate.
Oh yeah, I did. You've seen you've seen the pictures. Damn it.
So if that's the question, then we're talking about what, 67 yards?
63 yards.
63, yeah. Yes, I think so. I think so
too.
Yeah,
I think with the Giants being out of the picture, and with them having a few injury issues of their own, I think
everyone's on board.
Every chance we'll get a healthy lead established, and then we can run the ball, kill the clock.
Yeah,
usual Cowboys football that we're used to.
Yeah, and just a point. My brother, by the way, that's LTP. He made a point that Jefferson has 500 more yards than Lamb. Bear in mind, Lamb has had to do this with 4 different quarterbacks this year.
Yeah, he's just actually made a comment about that. Sorry, DJ Dog made the comment about that. He's like, Jefferson
There we
had
go,
starting quarterback all season. So, guys, your comments have been absolutely brilliant so far. Keep them coming in, guys. Brilliant.
MVPs.
What I'll also say is that Justin Jefferson is wide receiver 2 on that team.
Very true.
Michael Gallup and Cooper want their catches as well.
And bear in mind that last game, Michael Gallup dominated that game. That was Michael Gallup's game of the year. And a lot of people talk about trading Michael Gallup. No. I think that game is the reason that when you turn around and you say, we need to trade Michael Gallup, you go, watch the Eagles game. We need to keep him.
It's going to be low. His value is still going to go up. So,
yeah.
And we were trying to, me and Graham and Brian were talking about this, and seriously, it's like, I think about all the scenarios, what's going to happen. We would love to keep Michael Gallup, but it really depends if he's willing to take a team-friendly deal, or is he going to say, I want this X amount. If the Cowboys are going to meet it, then we're likely going to trade them away. That's the only two scenarios we can really think that's going to happen, but we do not want to do a Byron Jones scenario ever again. Oh, God, that is not on the cards whatsoever.
Yeah, just to touch on what I said on Tuesday, I don't want rid of Michael Gallup. I love Michael Gallup. What I want the most is what Paul's just said. I don't want Byron Jones 2.0.
Yeah.
My choice would be to offer him a high-end contract because I think he's a reliable player who makes huge catches for us. Second choice would be at least some trade value, and right at the very bottom would be to let him play out 2021 and see him ride off into the sunset and go and play for somebody that throws $25 million at him but has no shout at the playoffs because they're devoid of talent. So
yeah,
I would love to see him extended,
is sweating.
But I'm not too sure if the cap money is there for.
Yeah, that's the big question. It's the cap. It's like if we do sign Preston to a longer term deal, where does that leave the space for like Gallup and these other players? And are we going to cut some players already in the roster in the high-end contract and let them grow to try and make space or what? We just don't know. Yeah. So when it comes to this off-season, that either we're in the playoffs or not, this is going to be one of the most important off-seasons. It's like how we're going to restructure the whole cap regards to who we're keeping and who's staying.
Yeah. And like
we haven't heard of any contract extension talk with Gallup. Normally, you would hear
comment of the night, Lauren. Absolutely.
I mean, I would hope that they would start talking to Gallup in the spring at least. You know, I wouldn't leave it any longer than that because the longer it gets, the more expensive it's going to get.
Yeah, I get the reason why people are saying it. And I'm going to go back to Lauren's comment. I know we said we move on to defense, but fuck it. It's New Year's Eve. We do what we want. But like...
fuck it. I'm opening it.
Crack it open, brother. Now, I get the idea, right, that at the end of the day, I have noticed, by the way, a very small problem. Graham does not have an alcoholic beverage.
This is so good.
Okay. That's beer.
That's all right then. I'll let you off.
Hey, listen.
I'll let you off.
It's down the stretch. Some of us peak way too early.
I did put it in the group message because we do like a chat before the show, and I said alcohol is not banned; it's mandatory. So I'm very happy with that. You stuck to the rules.
Just to bring up a comment from our Periscope / Twitter feed. I don't know how. F1 Zinkel, but to trade, I assume it's going to be a bit Gallup. You really have to rob someone to make a deal worth doing. Well,
and this is bang on. This is bang on. Leave it if you want to leave our comment up. This is what I was going to go to. Kind of literally took the words right out of my mouth. That at the end of the day, you drafted a wide receiver in the first round. So much so you love the guy. You gave him the 88. You're right.
Yep.
You've got Amari Cooper, who's breaking records, is a wide receiver 1. He's over 1,000 yards. In terms of first-round wide receivers, he's one of the few that has made multiple Pro Bowls and 1,000-yard seasons, believe it or not. There's like a bit of an anomaly when it comes to first-round wide receivers. Amari Cooper is far from that. And albeit in Alabama, the guy was breaking records there that have yet to be broken. I think actually they may have been broken. I'll double check that. Somebody at home will know if it has. I think it may have done.
Lauren,
I'm going off topic. But the good comment that was made on Periscope was what I was going to ask you guys, is that for the Cowboys that are in need of help in defense, as we know, right? That is needless to say. Wide receiver is something that we have a lot of value in. Yeah, we got so much options there. Bear in mind, we haven't even talked further on down the depth chart with Cedric Wilson, Noah, and the rest of them, right? So there's plenty of options there. So do you think that trading Michael Gallup, because of the value that we have in wide receiver, could be seen as a good way to do business? What do you reckon?
If we were to trade, it's with the amount of time left in this contract and stuff like that. I mean, I think we'll probably get a third round at best, like because of how the contract scenario is with Gallup. Like
you could probably get more, I think.
You might get a second, but we won't get a first because of how, like, see if he was on like a 4-year contract right now and he had 4 years left, then you'll definitely get a first round pick, maybe even more than that, like to actually compensate. You're paying for the quality player, but because the contract length is so short, it's like I'm trying to think in terms of like how the soccer, football here works.
Sure.
Like, if you're 1 year left, you're like to take a slower transfer fee type of thing. Like to try and get rid of them, get rid of that contract and move on, pastors new, whatever and that. So I'm kind of thinking the same way, but it's more in the trade way. So if we can get a third round or even better, a second round, I'll be over the moon with that.
Yeah, I'm thinking third round would be like a sort of off-season move. I'm thinking like you could probably get a second round sort of deal if it was on draft or near draft day, because the values go up as you get closer because passes start to twitch.
True.
Yeah.
Again,
Do you know what I mean?
And this is the whole thing we're going to be talking about through the draft show, end of the season, either we're champions or not. I'm just saying it right now.
I take the point what Rich made on Tuesday's show, in that you don't move away from your strengths to address on defense. But you don't necessarily need to think down the lines of, okay, we reduce at wide receiver and we supplement with a corner or a safety, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
There's every chance they could use that third round pick on another wide receiver.
Exactly.
We have for a further 4 years, rather than letting Michael Gallup walk out the door for nothing. I mean, the ideal scenario is obviously that we extend them, obviously.
Yeah.
But for us to get that third round pick back, it means we can address the hole made by Michael Gallup, get a serviceable wide receiver in there to play the slot or to take over from the outside. You've got him for 4 years on a good cap number, rather than giving 15-16 million to Michael Gallup, not addressing another need in free agency. Do you get what I mean? So that way, at least you've still got that third round pick to go and replace Michael Gallup or bring in somebody else, rather than letting Gallup just walk out the door and having to spend the third round pick that you already have to replace him. You get what I mean?
And use the double-edged sword. Go on, Paul. Go on.
I was just going to back your comment. Like, I think all of us can agree it needs to be this off-season. Something needs to happen in regards to Gallup. It has to be
to solidify a longer-term deal for the price range.
Like it's either it has to be something has to happen to Gallup in the off-season. Either we're going to give him the contract, or we're going to have the possibility of trading away. We cannot let him drag it out to end of his contract. We cannot let him do that.
No. And here's the other double-edged sword issue that you've got is that if we believe that CD Lamb is the player that he's going to be, bear in mind, if you're putting CD Lamb on a 4-year deal and CD Lamb gets to his 4th year and he's saying, I want a contract extension, show me the money.
Yeah.
And you've got Gallup tied up, what are you going to do?
Exactly.
Yeah. All of a sudden, you're spending $60 million on wide receiver.
Just on 3 guys. Yeah. And one of them is going to be the short-handed guy. Yeah. And you'll be doing that. You're spending 60 million, and one of those guys is going to be the short-handed guy who's not getting, the stats that you want for the money. So it's a double-edged sword. Tricky business. I'm just glad I'm not in charge of the cap.
This is an interesting comment from Lauren. Lewis Gallup in free agency, we would likely to get a compensational first rounder.
It could be. It could be.
If we do, then it's better. It could be. It would be better than nothing.
I think the
third would be. It could be. Like the issue you've got is when it comes to compensatory picks, it's so random. It's literally up to them.
Agreed, dog. Agreed. Look, we needed Dak done first for sure.
Dak is priority.
Dak is number one priority,
without a doubt.
But here's the question I've got for you guys: do you think with how Dalton is playing right now, and if we make a bigger playoff push, say we win and we get into the playoffs, and we managed to get to, like, say, for example, the NFC Championship, for example, do you think with how Dalton maybe be playing, this might actually help us re-sign Dak to a lower value contract, perhaps?
No, his value's gone up. Dak, by each game, his value is it's going up.
Even though Dalton's actually performing?
You're seeing it, yeah. But the issue that you've got is they will not want to take the gamble. Okay, they want to go with it, no.
So now that I've kind of answered that, Alfie came in with this. Did you see the Hare's comments on Dak and Dalton? Is Dak worth double Dalton? The stats showing the first 64 games are scary identical. I mentioned it previously, but I was intrigued to your response. Apologies, Alfie. I thought we brought that up, but we didn't actually respond to it. So apologies there, my friend.
Yeah, to be honest, I very rarely pay attention to because he gets on my nerves. Honestly, I don't know how he's still on here.
Colin Hurd is pretty much a poor man, Stephen A. Smith, but Stephen A. Smith is an asshole.
Yeah.
So
I mean, like, I do struggle with Colin. Man, I get it. But here's the issue, is that I can make, right, you know me, guys, I love stats. I love stats up and down. My brother's on the line. He'll tell you what I'm like with stats. I can make stats work for me to show you that Dalton's better than Dak by a long way.
Oh, yeah.
I can show you stats that'll make Carson Wentz look better than Andy Dalton.
No, don't even put that picture together. Like Carson,
no, I'm not. I'm just
sorry, mate, but do not mention Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz is a fucking piece of crap, man. I'm sorry.
I'm drinking to that, baby.
I think.
As a person, I'm sure he's lovely, but as a player, oh god, no. How is he?
No, he plays.
How the hell was he a first-round draft pick? I have no idea. I'm sorry. I really don't understand.
Mate, there's a player coming up in this year's draft, very, 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 very similar to him.
The comments on the Herd show are always controversial, and they're always discussion.
And it's done on purpose. It's done on purpose.
And of course, it's done on purpose. I mean,
it's always trying to do it. It's triggered. #triggered Cowboys fans.
Right now, we're riding the crest of a wave with Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton's in good form. Let's not get carried away by thinking he's the franchise.
No,
definitely not.
You can have Dak Prescott for the next 10 years if you play your cards right. You're going to have Dalton playing well, maybe for the next 6 games.
Yeah.
See what I did there?
And look, the comments are flying in that are agreeing with us. That
I could talk about all the first round draft picks. Like, Mike, you posted up something about first round draft picks the other day there. About Mariota, Jameis Winston, Daniel Jones, the only
Haskins, who's just gone.
Baker Mayfield, he's questionable.
Carson Wentz,
like honestly, the list is endless. In the past 5 years of quarterbacks who were in the first round, the only one
Paxton Lynch.
Paxton Lynch, who we nearly fucking traded for. I mean, what the WTF to that? So, and
How's
not
Johnny Manziel doing?
Oh, exactly. There we go, Johnny Manziel.
Who, by the way, is back in football? Johnny Manziel is back in football.
Wait, what's he playing? Azerbaijan? What the hell?
No, he's back in football. There's I don't know if you've seen it. There's a new football league. It's called the FCS, Fan Creation League, and it's 7-on-7, and the fans control. They control the play calls. They control like the logos, the unit. Yeah. Honestly, it's a real league. 7-on-7, and the fans control the play-by-play.
Nah.
Yeah, and Manziel is a quarterback in that league.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say I'm out.
If I was Johnny Manziel, and I'm gonna cause
guys, look, we all know I'm an Aggies fan. Yeah. And Manziel, that situation always makes me sad.
Mike, Graham, I'm going to cause a big upset here, and I might upset some of the viewers, especially the ladies or the LGBTQ community here. But
no, don't get us banned off here.
But Johnny Manziel has a better chance playing in the LFL as a woman.
Would you want to see, though, Manziel in that uniform? In the hot pants with the bra padded shoulder pads?
It'd be quite funny.
They are. Mate, I tell you something now, that some of those hits that they put in are fucking wild.
LFL for the win.
As bad as arena football. Arena football had some massive hits.
Yeah, I wish they brought arena football back to primetime TV.
Man, arena football. Do you ever watch arena football, Gray?
On occasion via YouTube. I wouldn't sit down and watch a live game.
Oh man, I watched
it's so much fun.
See when
so much fun.
What's his face? Played for Amsterdam Admirals, won the Super Bowl with the Rams.
Oh, Kurt.
He was amazing at arena football. Amazing.
Quincy Carter was really good at it.
Post Cowboys, aye.
Yeah, there you go. Anyway.
Cheers for the support there, dog.
As an Aggie fan, that makes me very upset. Anyway, let's get on to the defense, guys. This is usually a section where I go, guys, we're talking Cowboys defense, suck in your teeth.
Yeah.
But we're not doing that anymore. We're going defense. Nope. Arrow up is for fucking sure, brother. Right? The Cowboys in the last 3 games, I'm going back there, have seen 45% less rush attempts. Going back to the offensive talk that we're scoring points, 36 points per game per average over the last 3 games. Andy Dalton, top 5 quarterback. Zeke Elliott, over 100 yards. Tony Pollard, Amari Cooper. All these things come together are helping the defense.
Give us the number, Mike. Where do we rank?
Okay.
Where do we rank? That's all I want to know.
Here we go. Right? We struggle in the rush defense. Between weeks 6 and 13, we saw, on average, a rush attempt on this defense of 53%. Right? Not even close. 53% of the plays called were a rush attempt. In the last 3 games, with teams trying to play catch up on us, we're nearly at 40%.
That's a good percentage down.
A huge dip in what has been done. But here's the one for you guys, right? And I'm going to ask this question based on this very, very easy and simple stat. The Mike Nolan defense. I know whenever you're a Cowboys fan and you say Mike Nolan, people go, whoa. But here we go.
Me and Graham were kind of talking about that on Tuesday, and we were like, Well, it's like if he somehow manages to turn it around, we end up making a great player fund then and move on to next season and things to get better, then yeah, why not keep him for one more? But if we were going to be blunt about it, the more narrow-minded version of myself would be like, I don't care, sack him. But
well, here we go.
But when you, I think you're just about to ask me the question is like how things have progressed, you know?
Yeah. Hit me with it. Do you think Mike Nolan's saving his job, both of you, and at home?
I think it all depends on this game. It really does. I think this game will justify his job. I think personally. Oh,
I just had to do that. Sorry.
I'm gonna be a little bit stubborn about it and
go on.
Refer to the fact that we've played. We have played backup QBs in the past 3 games. I fully admit that the defense it's trending upward and we're doing particularly well just now.
Yeah.
But I just wonder if we would have to go into the postseason for Nolan to save it. I think we would have to make a proper stand against a proper firing offense. If we could hold a playoff team to under 20 points, it's a huge feather in his cap. I don't know. As man, I'm gonna sit in the fence. I don't know. But I don't know who's out there. Do you know what I mean? Like,
there's plenty of options. There's plenty of options, right? I did a little piece. I don't know if you remember mid-season about top 4 defensive coaches. Damn it, I've started a fire here. But
I am going to grill you for this comment shortly for that.
Yeah, no. We'll get to that. I've got linebacker talk here, but Mike Nolan, right? Sure, we've had issues, but here's one for you. I'm going back to the last 3 games, guys. Sticking with this theme. 10 turnovers in the last 3 games. We have a turnover differential of +9. That's 3rd in the NFL over that period.
What a difference!
Difference.
It's huge. Like it makes sound like I'm being a little bit down on the defense because you can only play who's put in front of you.
Exactamundo.
You can only play who's put in front of you, and we have done particularly well in the past 3 weeks.
And players that are actually coming out of their shell, like for example Donovan Wilson, and unfortunately, like he's questionable for the game, right? For the Giants,
illness, but I think he'll play.
Right, if he can play, then great. But what a difference he's made to us! Like he is actually bringing the bloody hammer when it comes to hitting tackles and making hits. And it's making wide receivers take a step back, and that is now leading up to their mistakes, and we're now countering for interceptions now. So now they've got a physical presence in the backfield rather than the front 4 or front 3, whatever, depending on what scheme we're playing. Excuse me.
Yeah. You're right. But here's one for you. Right? That's going to reiterate a point that we all made directly. It was 3 of us on this show, right? It was me, Paul, and you, Graham, all on this show talking about Dontari Poe. We were talking about Dontari Poe.
This is the comment of the century. Comment. Alfie, I freaking love you for saying this. Ever since we got rid of Dontari Poe,
everything went up. It was, and this is what I was just about to say. I was going to tell you to bring that comment out. That the 3 of us made this comment that Dontari Poe is gone, a guy that was getting moved off the ball for a guy his size, who was supposed to be a nose tackle, zero anchor. All of a sudden, we had Anton Woods and Canadian Bulldozer playing. Whole thing changed. I tell you something else that people have gone overlooked with. I tell you something though, right, guys, that has been overlooked. I tell you something now. Statistically, the numbers will not show it, but in the last 3 games, There it is again. Last 3 games, Tyrone Crawford has woken up.
Yes, he's the forgotten soul. We were all talking about
forgotten man.
We were all talking about, is he going to be the same guy? Is he going to be the same guy coming back from hip surgery and all that type of stuff? But he seems to be like, especially the past 2 games, he's been a focal point. He's been a talking point in the centre of that defence, playing at nose tackle and playing at end, and he's healthy. And our friend on Twitch, I'm sorry if I do not pronounce your name wrong, Fizvan Svinkel, he's healthy.
Mate, whenever it comes to Twitter handles, just use the first letter. I always find that works out best.
But another curveball I'd like to throw out on the question of Mike Nolan.
Yeah, go on.
I think there's an increased chance of Mike Nolan staying if Kellen Moore goes to Boise State.
Very true.
Because
of familiarity.
Then you're replacing both your D and your O coordinators in the same offseason, which will be tough.
And
we see Super Bowl teams struggle because of that.
Yeah.
Like post-season, trying to replace the guys that have gone in to be head coaches or whatever. That's a struggle.
But here's one for you, right? And I'm going to, again, ask the people at home, because the guys at home are on fire right now. These comments, man, they are, you're flaming us out here. But do you think perhaps, I'm sorry, I'm reading some of these comments, they're brilliant. But do you think perhaps, right, at the start of the season, we saw a bit of an issue with everything going on with the defense and the play calling. But do you think perhaps Mike Nolan himself has realized that a switching between a 4-3 to a 3-4 does not fit this roster? He's realized that himself, come to terms with it, adjusted his scheme to fit the players. Hit me with it, especially you, Paul, playing defense.
Well, absolutely. Like, I know so when we're seeing it from a free front with the 2 outside linebackers at one point, where it was more of a, like, it was not working at all.
No,
we were getting pushed over left, right, and centre. Since we went back to the forefront, we were seeing a big major difference. We were actually getting a gap penetration a lot more better, especially with Anton Woods and Neville Gallimore, since they actually became the starters massively. Right? We did switch up to the forefront. We had Poe there, but we were getting better on the edges. But the centre was, in that game with Cleveland, we got absolutely destroyed, and that was the final nail in the coffin. We came to slow ass Dontari Poe. Bye, Felicia. But
he's enjoying it. He's enjoying it.
I'm enjoying it. I'm sorry, I have no hate towards the person, but for him to come to Dallas and just come here for a paycheck and not do anything, I'm sorry, but fuck you, Dontari Poe. But anyway, but we have seen a massive difference in terms of the attitude, the physicality, and the determination on our defensive line. And I'm going to run this back onto you, Graham. We have seen that in D-Law, especially now.
Yeah.
A lot, especially in the past 3. And I'm using your line here, the past 3 games.
Past 3 games. Here's one for you, right? Before you want to go any further. You want to know? Do you want to know a little fact? Do you want to know a fact? That in the NFL right now, in the top 10 defensive players, and here we go. I'm getting a lovely segue here off DJ Dog. That in the NFL, top 10 defensive players in defensive rating, only the Cowboys have 2 players in the top 10, D-Law and Gregory.
Man, Gregory has been...
we are the only pair.
Me and Graham and Brian talked about Gregory a lot on Tuesday's show. And honestly, since he's came back into the squad, he's rejuvenated. He's managed to conquer his demons in terms of his personal problems, in terms of his wacky-backy, whatever you want to call it, the ganja, whatever. Like, who knows?
Which is ridiculous to begin with.
Well, if you go for mental health, I understand. It's the mental health aspect. But he's managed to overcome that. He's pure focused on football. And even when we managed to see him, was it 2 seasons ago, for those 2 games that he did play, one against Tampa Bay and actually destroyed Jameis Winston, managed to cause the forced fumble for Jalen Smith to run for the touchdown. Whenever he is on the field, he causes freaking chaos.
Problems.
Always, like speed, the strength, the determination to get the ball carrier, whoever it's the quarterback or the running back, he is relentless. And honestly, and dog, I'll bring back up your comment, unleash Gregory. That's unleash is a great word.
And here's one for you. Gregory's last game, just to put things into perspective, he had a perfect defensive rating last game, right?
Wow.
They gave him a perfect score. 6 tackles, 1.5 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, 3 quarterback hits.
3 forced fumbles? Wow.
And 3 quarterback hits. They gave him a perfect perfect defense rating.
Yeah, Jesus. I think it's no coincidence that Mike Nolan stopped trying to be a hybrid front 7 and stick
there we
with
go.
It. You know,
that is what I was trying to ask you. Yeah,
like there's the understanding there now. There's the consistency there now, and under Marcus Lawrence, there's no one more delighted than I am to eat my words, because I didn't think Lawrence was going to be the horrendous player for the rest of his Cowboys contract. It was just frustration that when you give somebody $20 million, you expect him to be a linchpin and get your sacks, get your defense off the field, and it wasn't registering. I mean, we can talk about the run tackling, which is great. It's always been one of his strengths, but the QB hurries for me was always the issue. But because we've now got a talent on the other side of the line and Gregory, it's getting to the QB one way or another, and it's a tough across the front four. So long as somebody is getting to the QB, I'm all good.
And in fairness to you, that you do always make a comment about a particular player, and if you're wrong, you're always the first guy to stand up. In fairness to you, Gray, and go, "I was wrong." Only one of the very things I love about you. That's only at the bottom of the list. There's a million other things above that why I love you so much.
Yeah, so finishing the clue. Sorry, I keep pronouncing it wrong. I do apologise. I did ask him where he was coming from, but he's actually from Toms River, New Jersey. So thank you for tuning in, man. Thank you.
Yeah. I do apologise. Something I do always say to everybody is, let us know where you're watching from. We do love to know where you're commenting and watching from. One of those little things we do enjoy, just to find out where you're all from.
I will add this in though, mate. It's like, we're not just America's team, we are the world's team. There we go.
The world's team. But here's another one for you, right, guys? Something that I've noticed that statistically doesn't translate, but the last 3 games that I have noticed, linebackers, which is a comment that was earlier. Linebackers are playing better, and definitely when it comes to the run game, flow into the ball smoothly and efficiently. What do you guys think?
Yeah, Sean Lee has brought an understanding and a consistency and a uniformity to the linebackers. I said on Tuesday's show that we may have been a little premature in expecting this to be Sean Lee's last season, because at the level he's playing at now, there's every chance he should work another year's contract. I don't think we're missing Leighton Vander Esch at all. I think Lee's come in and been the linchpin for the linebackers, and Jalen Smith looks more comfortable.
Definitely.
I mean, it's unfortunate that Lee is the age that he is, because Lee's clock is ticking, and the concern down the line is, do we have somebody to take over? Because right now, Jalen Smith's getting all the tackles, but we have talked about it in the past. He can be a little bit of a loose cannon when he starts thinking too much.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm with you. That if you give Jalen Smith, I think with Jalen Smith, you've got to micromanage. I don't know if that makes sense to you guys. That
Yeah.
if you let Jalen Smith play that rover linebacker position, goes to shit. Tell him to be there or that position or do that, be in that spot. Everything just seems to just click together perfectly.
So now that you mentioned Jalen Smith, I'll bring back your brother's comment.
Yeah, sure.
Jalen Smith seems to be the only one that's doing anything. I disagree. I completely disagree.
Too.
So, don't get me wrong, Jalen, he's got the highest amount of tackles. He is putting some good work, but he has made some absolute blunders, especially in that Cincinnati game, especially. I don't know how many times I need to talk about that one particular play because it's so evident. But
I know the one.
But when you dissect the whole defense, like even though we lost Diggs, our D line has stepped up. Neville Gallimore is actually helped containing the inside pocket of the offensive line for the run gaps. And we're seeing Dreadway stepping it up, and we're seeing D-Law actually making more fit. And like we said, Tyron Crawford, the forgotten soul of the team. So things are
doing his job.
Things are on the rise for the defense, and
the thing you always got to remember, the thing that I always like to say that's really making your point, is that the linebackers can only be as good as the guys in front of them. And you know that yourself, Paul, playing defensive lineman.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, that they literally go. It's so weird in a way that they go hand in hand in one respect, and in terms of two positions, they're none are more important. That if your D line are doing their job, and your linebackers are filling in the spots and not getting moved off the ball, everything else just falls into place.
Exactly. It's all about the gap assignment. So for example, I'm trying to give you an example so that I'll break it down for everyone who's watching right now. The particular play I was talking about against Cincinnati, Anton Woods had his gap. He took up a double team. The defensive ends took their jobs, and Neville Gallimore had a one-on-one. And basically, I think it was the B gap.
Yes, it was.
It was the B gap that Jalen had to look. And basically, he was reading what the running back was doing, but he pre-estimated, he took up early estimation where the running back was going.
Went rover,
and he basically turned to the right, and the running back juked back inside and ran through the B gap, and it was like a 40-yard gain or something like that.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
You cannot make those mistakes. You always need to keep your eyes on the running back and not turn your back. That's what Jalen did. He turned his back and actually ran to the other direction. It was like someone throwing a frisbee left and you go right. That's pretty much what happened. So,
and don't forget, in that particular game it was the game before, Leighton Vander Esch did the exact same thing.
Yeah, he did exactly the same, but he did came out and took responsibility.
That's true.
He did take responsibility for that. He's like, sorry guys, I screwed up. I rather prefer for players to come out and say, guys, I made a big mess up in that play. I do apologize. It will never happen again. It's all about forget that last play and move on and rectify it in the next play. It's all about moving forward after that.
Yeah. I don't know if you want to bring it up, but Lorne's literally making our point here. But question for you.
On fire, man. On fire.
Always on fire. Yeah. This rate, we're going to be giving him a job. But here's one for you, right, guys? Oh, I see the nod. Okay. Here's one for you, though. I put a post up about Sean Lee making an in-game talk to the defensive team during the game. That he went out there, huddled the defense up, gave a team talk to the defense. From that point on, after Sean Lee gave that speech, the Eagles made 3 points, a field goal. Does Sean Lee come back, or would you like to see Sean Lee come back as a linebacker coach, position coach, linebacker?
I honestly don't know.
I'll be honest, I'm not ready to let go of him as a player. I think
that.
I I will say I know who is not one to let Sean Lee go, and it's our very own Lauren Draper Wood. She will not let him go for the
That's true.
She would not let Sean Lee go.
Oh man, I miss LD.
Big shout out to our founder, Lauren.
Nah, I miss LD. I hope she's doing all right.
It'll be a sad day when Sean Lee retires.
And of course, one person is now dampering the mood. It's Mr. Valenti. Boo to you. Boo to you. I know your reasons why, but come on, dude.
Okay, here we go. Right, guys? We are going to finish the story off on this show by talking about the other big game this weekend. But before we do that, we need to find out what everybody's score prediction. Score predictions. Right, so I want some score predictions. Now, I've gone over the stats. I've seen that the Giants are literally rock bottom in scoring. Defense, not bad. But right now, Cowboys are on fire. Guys at home, give us your score predictions. I'm hitting you with mine straight away. Cowboys, averaging 36 points per game. You're going to see a little bit more calming downness, if that makes sense. But the Cowboys are going to win this game. Oh, it's a beautiful game. It's beautiful. New Year's Eve. New Cowboys. New year. Oh, my God. Alfie's already hit me with it. I've got him to score 31-10 to the Cowboys.
Man, the Cowboys are flying in. Holy shit.
Yeah, man. Just don't hit.
I'm going to be...
Go on, Gray. Hit me with it. I've got 31-10 to the Cowboys. And bear in mind, I was pretty much bang on last week.
well, you got the defensive score right. You got the defensive score right. But I was 1 point away from the...
So, what you do on this show is you say, Mike gets the defensive score right and Paul gets the offensive score right. Put the two together. What have you got?
Boom. Magic.
Great, go on. You hit me with your score, Gray. You were in the middle of talking before we interrupted you.
I'm going to be as positive as you, Mike, but I'm going to move the scale down a little bit. I'm going to go 24-7.
24-7.
I think we're going to keep the score down on the Giants. I think the Giants may well have mailed in the season.
Mate, the Giants are 31st in scoring.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a dominant game. 24-7 Cowboys.
I love it.
I like it. So for me, I'm trying to find the right comment that I made the score prediction because it was very close to what I was going for. And it was your brother as well.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So he went 45-13. I am going
Team
Dallas,
40 burger.
I am going Dallas 41. Giants 10.
I mean, 45-13, that's no mercy. That's keeping Dalton in for the whole game.
That's you playing the Shane O'Mac music from the WWE. It's like, here comes the money.
All right. Go on. I'm not going to interrupt you. Hit me with it when you're talking, baby.
See, when you're talking about upwards of like a 35-point lead, start taking starters out of the game. You know, if you're going to be staring the playoffs in the face, don't leave them on to rub salt in the wounds. We've got January to think about. Well, if things go our way.
Hey, mate, things will go our way, right? I've been running this shit for the last month, putting green ticks on everything. I've done that for nothing.
I brought that graphic up, Mike. That graphic looks awesome, and it keeps getting better every single week.
Yeah. It's like tick, 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 tick.
Mike,
go on, baby.
Before we talk about the Heroes in Washington, I want to know everyone's predictions of the percentage we are going to win. The percentage.
Ooh.
That's a good question. Is it going to be?
I like that.
100%, 75%, 50%? What are we thinking for you folks?
Okay, Do you want mine? Do you want mine straight away? What? So we're talking percentage of the Cowboys making the playoffs?
Yes.
100%.
Oh,
There we go. 100%. They win against the Giants, and Eagles, which we'll talk about in a minute, and the reasons why, will beat Washington. That is true. That was very funny. And I did actually laugh. So go on then, right? You asked the question, baby.
Oh, 98% right? From Jamie. Oof.
Jamie, yeah. Who has told us during the show how much he loves us.
Oh,
but
Paul, I'm going to say 80%.
Oh man, you're weak. Go on then, Greg. What have you got?
I think that is a reasonable statistic based on, because for all we know, the Eagles might lay down because they hate us more than they do Washington. They might.
I am going to kill that theory. I'm going to kill that theory.
I know what you're going to say, and I agree, but they might not. They might fucking play fucking Carson Wentz for the last game for all we know. Who knows?
Gray, hit me up with your percentage.
I'm going to say between 70 to 80, and I'll tell you why. Because this is a COVID-19 situation. When has anything ever gone to plan during this year? And that's why I'm not saying 100%, but it's damn close.
Guys, get your percentages in. We want to know what is the percentage of Dallas making the playoffs.
100%.
Mike says 100%. I see 80. Graham says between 70 and 80%. What are yours? Jamie says 98. Alfie has came up saying 70%. The Washington D line scares me against the Eagles.
And don't worry about the D line. Don't worry about the D line.
That's a good point. Our friend Ivan Slickle is 90%. Steve Montfort comes in with a good old 80%. Hell yeah! So we're 100%. We're feeling positive. There's a wee bit of doubt in the back of our mind if Washington are going to do the job. That's the big question. It's more so on Washington rather than us.
There is zero worry, right? Okay,
my last thought for it is that I hope we do our bit.
Yes,
there will be no worse feeling that the Eagles winning and we do not do our jobs. There will be nothing worse.
If you want to go back in time, because I watched Back to the Future the other day.
Great. Gary Lair just made a really good point. Hurts is wanting the starting job.
Yes, this is what I put into our comments earlier. Don't forget, the Eagles have benched their starting quarterback that they spent on a first-round pick, right? They benched the guy. And then they've got Jalen Hurts, yes, who they've spent a fortune on too, in terms of draft capital. So these guys are in cahoots right now for a starting role in 2021. And you mean to tell me that the Eagles turn around and say to Hurts, we want you to give up this game? Do you think, for a minute, that this guy who wants to have an extended contract at the end of his rookie contract is going to sit there and go, okay, I'll lose this game so Wentz can have another crack at it next year?
No. It's all business at the end of the day. But, Mike, I need to bring up this one little comment is trying to beat yours.
I'm going to ignore it.
No. Gary comes in with 110%.
My kind of guy. My kind of guy. My kind of guy. All day, every day. I will never bet against it. Right, anyway. Okay, so the Philly-Washington game. Unfortunately for everyone in the UK, right, if you're a Cowboys fan and you're in the UK Cowboys fan club, you're joining us this Sunday at 6 p.m. Actually at 5 p.m. with the online tailgate party that we have an hour before. Make sure you join us.
Be sure to join our group. Be sure to get all the details from our post and come into the draft party. Be sure to take part. Have a wee drink. Join in.
Join in. It is the last of the regular season. Nothing regular about the regular season, Mike. But in the UK, here's the fun bit. We don't find out in the UK if we make the playoffs until about 4 o'clock in the morning. Philly versus Washington, 1:20 a.m. kickoff. Yay! So guess what I'm doing Monday morning? Yay!
I'll be staying up for it. You
kind of got no choice, man.
Yeah, so I'll be staying up for it. So all our friends in the USA right now, see the lengths that us UK fans need to deal with, staying up to 4 o'clock in the morning just to watch a football game. Not even our team, but it affects our team. It just shows you us at UK Cowboys how much we are dedicated and how much we love our Dallas Cowboys right now.
4 a.m. to watch the Eagles.
You're looking about 4 o'clock. I mean, that's if the game goes to plan. Imagine if there's like a shitload of penalties. You're talking 5. I mean, before now, we've been talking about a game. We've been talking about a game on this show that didn't finish till 6 o'clock in the morning, and it kicked off at 9 o'clock at night.
Your brother, 400% thing, yeah, brother.
It looks like my mentality is beginning to rub off on him. Brilliant. As long as that's the only thing. Anyway, we're not going there. Right? Here's another point why I think the Eagles are not going to lose this game. Do you really think that the Eagles will want to lose their last game of the season with question marks all over the roster at Lincoln Financial Field?
Oh.
Nope.
In front of their own fans, who we know can be a little bit aggressive.
Cowboys.
Towards each other.
Towards each other. It's good to see Austin with us. We always like to see that name pop up. The guy who's becoming a bit regular.
I know, Mr. Austin Powers. We missed you earlier on the show, my friend. But when it comes to the Eagles, if there's one fan if I could think of, it's Mr. ADP445. What would he think? What would he think? Right? What would he think? He's like, he would probably give up, if I'm being perfectly honest, because he's not really he's just one of those Eagles fans, whatever. But a true Eagles fan, you want to win with some pride.
Yeah.
Like any fan that is so core to the bone, and it's like us. We want to win every game as much as possible, even though we're maybe it's like the Giants, like the Jets fans. Sorry, like they're like we finally won a game this season. It's like it's a bit of attention relief, you know what I mean? But for them, they want to see if, and this is one of the comments earlier,
who we got.
And it's either going to be Wentz or it's going to be Jalen Hurts. That's the question. Because now, mind when we did the draft show, way before the season, and when when Jalen Hurts got drafted, we were like,
I said it was great. I said it was a great pick.
Well, I was like, what the fuck? I was like, I was shocked. I was genuinely shocked. Like, because it's like, surely they've just signed a quarterback to a long-term extension. If they were going to bring a quarterback in as a backup, surely it would have been in the 4th or 5th round, not in the fucking 2nd round. I mean, come on.
I know.
You know?
I hated the pick because I knew how good Hurts is.
Hurts
is a double. He's good with his arm as he is with his feet.
But I will be worried in the seasons to come if he does become starter for the Eagles. I will be worried.
He will. Guaranteed.
He will.
Yeah,
and I do worry about that because we did see a glimpse of that in the first quarter, the first half of that game. What he's capable of.
He was one in terms of the Eagles roster against the Cowboys last week. He by far against all the players, offense and defense, that Hurts had statistically and just by the eyeball test the best game against the Cowboys last week. He was the best player in that game by a long way. He made mistakes, sure, but here's one for you.
Oh, Austin came in with an absolute tongue biter of a question.
This was damn it! You people back home, you're beating me to the punch. I was going to ask you, Paul and Graham, and everyone at home, This is happening too much tonight. Everyone's probably having a drink.
Austin's got the psychology in your mind, my friend.
I know. He's going to beat me out this job at this rate. So, the question I was going to ask you is that if the roles were reversed, Cowboys completely out of contention, right? We're out of the playoff race. The Eagles and the Washington football team are playing each other this weekend. We're playing the Giants, right? The roles are reversed. That let's do it. The roles are reversed. That if the Eagles win, they go to the playoffs. If the Giants beat us, they go to the playoffs. But we don't know who we have. Damn it. Doesn't make very good for the podcast listeners why we're laughing, but I don't really care.
No, if they've been tuning in for the whole show so far, they would understand.
Okay. But the roles are reversed. But we have question marks on who our quarterback is. That we have Dak, but we drafted in the second round of quarterback who is outplaying Dak. Do you think, as a fan of the Cowboys, we would want the Cowboys to lose?
No, that's not the question. That's not the question.
I'm putting it completely in the same context. I want complete context.
It doesn't matter who the quarterback is. I want us to win. If it was the Eagles.
Okay, we'll go that far then. Go on, and hit me with it.
For me, I freaking hate the fucking Eagles. I hate them with a fucking passion. Of all the NFC East, NFC least teams, the Eagles are the worst. I despise them more than the Giants and the WTF team, the what the fuck team. For me, always win. Always end the season in a high note and go into next season with a positive mindset. Always. There you go. Always. If you lose your last game of the season, statistically, you're going to go into next season off season thinking you're down and done in the dumps, blah, 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 and it affects you mentally. And
here's another one. That both of you answer this question and at home. You lose your last game of the season. Does that put more question marks on your team come draft day?
Nah. I think you take the season as a whole. You don't necessarily put any weight towards game 7 or week 17. Not for me. I think you would look at it as a whole.
Okay.
Austin again with the fire.
Yeah,
but just to go back to.
He's right though.
He's spot on. Exactly, yeah. Austin. Exactly. Never want to lose to the Bears and Steelers. These teams are hated rivals. Eagles are number one hated team. Absolutely,
it's
DJ
true.
Dog. Absolutely. But if there was a team to pick from, it would be the Eagles. I would never want them to see like for them to actually have a Super Bowl. It still pains my bloody guts. It really does. and the worst of all, it was with a backup quarterback. That is the worst part of it.
Yeah. Right. I think let's break out of this conversation because we're just going to end up in this continual loop here. Because I think we're all in agreement. It's a professional league. It's the NFL, the highest league of all. You never want to lose. You never want to lose against a division rival. You never want to lose against a rival. Full stop. Doesn't matter what the situation is. Always win. That has always been the way it goes. But here it goes. Right. Let's move out of that broken loop here. Washington right now have no Dwayne Haskins, right? He's gone.
He's gone.
This guy's done. He's a free agent. He's not only a free agent, he's passed waivers, so all 32 teams have passed up on him. Alex Smith has an issue with the leg, the same leg that we all know about.
Yeah.
It's a muscular issue in that leg.
I will say is give some kudos to Alex Smith for making a comeback.
I'm not taking anything away from him.
Like regardless, he plays for
Yeah.
a trash team, but as a player, personnel, like
Mentality.
Fair play to Alex Smith to come back and actually play a game of football after that horrible injury. So, but I do not want Alex Smith to play because I know we still know what he's capable of.
No. I wasn't going to take anything away from it. That wasn't going to go anywhere near it. But the issue is that he is questionable to start this weekend. Right. Because of the leg issue. He's getting muscle cramps in that leg. And because of we know the whole situation with that leg, you'd have to be living under a rock not to know about the Alex Smith issue. You've got a finger up? No? Okay.
No, right. I was giving my fingers a point of agreement.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So it looks like they're not going to play Alex Smith, right? And yeah, that's another one. Riverboat wrong with the cancer situation. Last week, Panther players all wearing about Riverboat Rom, so they were all on board with him. Anyway.
Sorry.
That means
sorry to jump in again, mate. I'm just stealing your thunder here, but Austin came in with a fantastic question, though. Nick Foles was unreal, though. This is when he did the Super Bowl run. Imagine if Dalton could do the same what he did.
Of course he can. What the Nick Foles situation shows is that the most important thing that comes into any playoff or quarterback run is scheme fit and understanding. That Nick Foles understood the RPO system taken over from Wentz during the playoff run.
Option. Yep.
Yeah, stuck with the RPO, understood it, bought into it, and what you saw is a team using that scheme and buying into it, etc., etc. We saw what came from it. Anyway, we don't know who the Washington. Well, we do know it's their third string quarterback, right?
What's his name?
The
fact we need to look it up. That's the fact. We don't even know his fucking name.
Is it not Kyle Allen?
I did have it all up here. He played last week. Somebody's going to beat me to the punch. I had it all laid out here, ready.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Right. So he played all right last week. Didn't play great, didn't play bad. Played like a third string quarterback. But here's our issue. Washington, right? And I'm sticking to the last 2 games. So we're going back to 2 games rather than 3, only because that fits my mold. But in the last 2 games, Washington have 6 giveaways. So their offense have given the ball away 3 times per game, right?
Yeah, that's a lot.
That is a lot. It's 3 giveaways a game, right? This weekend in Financial Field. Tell me if this fits the Philadelphia Eagles style play to a T right now. It's going to be hammering down with rain.
As much as it pains me to say this, but this benefits the Eagles so fucking much.
So much.
As much as I hate the fucking Shields, as much as I fucking hate them, but they are going to beat the WTF, what the fuck team.
Well, here's one for you. It is hammering down with rain in Philadelphia this Sunday. Thought I'd check that out. How sad am I? It's hammering down with rain. Right? If it's hammering down with rain, what do you do more than anything?
Run the ball.
Run the damn ball. Right?
With who?
And yeah, I know. Right? I'll get back to that in a moment. But the good news is, right? Antonio Gibson, in his last 2 games he's played, hasn't run more than 50 yards per game. Right? He has been injured and he has slowed down since the start of the season. Hurts, mind you, he's playing great. Over 60 yards rushing over his last 2 games. That doesn't just end there, right? If you want to try and pass the ball, who are you going to pass it to in a rainy game? Your tight end. Guess who's back for the Eagles in the last game? Zach Ertz. And Miles Sanders, he's questionable to start, but in his last 3 games, he's averaged 79 yards per game and a touchdown.
Thanks, Austin. Thanks for that. That's a good mentality thing. I'll take that in mind. But I just can't bear. I freaking hate the Eagles. Sorry.
No, but all right.
Just to piggyback on what you're saying. No,
yeah,
mate,
go back to what I'm saying about the Eagles at the moment in a rainy game have the advantage of rushing. That they have Miles Sanders on better. Antonio Gibson, he's slowed right down. They've got Jalen Hurts rushing for over 60 yards per game. Zach Ertz, boosh. Tell me what you think, guys. I just go to the toilet. You crack on and talk about that.
Well, I'll also tell you that Moss,
Mike's
the Washington tight end, is on injured reserve now.
You need to
Antonio Gibson didn't practice today.
Wow.
Terry McLaurin didn't practice today.
Dude,
So
this game's ours for the taking, but I need to check this out, but apparently because this is going to be an NFC East showdown, they're going to be playing the game at the same time, apparently. Is this, like, dog, please tell me, can you confirm that for me, please? Like that, like, if you can confirm that, if that helps us in terms of the games, in terms of if they push another team playing the 1 o'clock slot, 1 a.m. slot in the UK, then great. Then that'd be fantastic. But like, just to kind of bring that point up, like, how beneficial would that be to us as UK fans and just for football fans in general if those 2 games were synchronized at the same time? It'd be nail biting. It'd be pure entertainment.
On the NFL site, it's still scheduled for Sunday night.
So it's still showing that?
Yeah. It would be pretty mean of them to move it on Thursday night. Yeah, I think if they were going to do that, would they not have moved it by now?
Yeah.
That's better.
Sorry, mate, but we just had a nice week. We had a big comment from Dog.
Yeah.
Saying, let him know, like, he brought this comment up, saying switch the game times.
They did.
They did?
Yeah.
Would it play at the same time?
No. Oh, they've switched it. Oh, I see. No, what I was going to say is they've switched the broadcasting. So the Tampa Bay game isn't being broadcast and the Cowboys game is. Bye-bye, Tom Brady.
No, while you were away, Mike, we were just basking in the fact that McLaurin and Gibson didn't practice today.
Yeah, that as well.
Sorry. Yeah, I was going to go through that. That Antonio Gibson is questionable to start because of a toe. So we've got issues there. Terry McLaurin is doubtful. So I don't think he's going to play at all because of an ankle injury. And another interesting one is their defensive tackle, Tom Settle. He's questionable to start with a shoulder injury.
Comment from Austin once again. He's coming with the fire once again. He wants Fletcher Cox to play. I want Fletcher Cox to play for the Eagles this weekend to beat Washington. I think all of us.
Cox.
He has to play. He's got to play.
All right. So we finished this show up with a very unusual question. One that is going to be hated by most Cowboys fans, but not this time. Is what is your score predictions for the Eagles-Washington game?
Oh, really? Are you fucking kidding me?
Mike.
I know.
That's brutal.
You're a fucking asshole.
I'm going to go with it. Eagles win 23. God. Eagles win 23-14.
I'm sighing in disbelief. I'm being perfectly honest with you.
I don't care. You got to give me a...
All right. Jalen if it's Jalen Hurts, then I'm going to say 28-17. 28-17 to the Eagles. Wow, Gary Lair was 17-14 overtime.
Oof.
No, do not say overtime.
Oof.
Please, in the name of Jesus Christ.
You know what?
No, we can't have that. We can't have overtime.
I've got the same thinking as Gary.
Come on, why is it so close? It should be a walkover right now.
No, I've got the same thinking as Gary. I think that when does it ever go smoothly for Cowboys fans? I think this is coming down
and it's 2020.
I think this is coming down to the wire. I'm going to say 17-14.
Yes, Gary, you're being devil's advocate. Yeah.
I'm going to agree with Gary. I like that scoreline. 17. I don't know if we'll go to overtime, but it will be damn close.
Fucking hell.
Okay. All right, then.
Oh, right. Lawrence came out with us. Oh, no, wait. No, sorry. Hold on.
That's a great score. Just for the listeners of the podcast, Lorne has predicted 6-0 Eagles.
Just a couple of field goals. Nothing more. Maybe. Yeah, no. Oh, mix out. Or it's a 3 safety game. Been a while since we've had that.
Lorne, just clear that up for us. What is your thinking behind that? Clear that up for us before we go. Because I wouldn't sleep tonight.
Jamie, we're ignoring because we know Jamie's drunk. Yeah, and we know Jamie's drunk because all he's done is constantly message us how much he loves us.
Yeah. And how much he wants a bottle of Buckfast right now.
He's still getting over that 5-0 win for Leeds.
Yes, exactly. We should just focus on our game first. Absolutely, Austin. We are going to focus on our game.
That's true.
We're
just giving a hypothetical.
It's just discussion. It's solely discussion.
Once we've done our job, once we get the win against New York, it's all up to Washington for them to perform and win. So all eyes are on them. Pretty much.
Be a splash in the eyeball.
Pretty much. Like we just need to ensure that we get the win, no matter what.
Of course.
By any means necessary. And once we do, we can kick back. All the Cowboys players are going to be watching the back in that dressing room, watching back and watch that game as the things progress and say, is Washington going to beat the Eagles, or is Eagles going to beat Washington and help us get into the playoffs?
I do hope the game has been flexed. I hate having to stay up till 4 a.m. to watch a non-Cowboys game, man. But there we go. But we do need to do a final shout, which I'm going to chuck out to Paul.
Yep.
Guys, 2020 is officially over. Woo! That means 2021 is in the mirror, which means, of course, that in the mirror? That didn't make any sense. That 2021 is coming up into the future, which means you need to start booking your tickets for not just the game, but stadium tours, tailgate parties, and everything else. Paul, hit me with it. What are we doing, brother?
So, guys, if you're planning going to a Dallas Cowboys game next season for the 2021 season, be sure to go with Cowboys Experience for the ultimate meet and greet, tailgate, and game day experience. Meeting players such as Drew Pearson, Zach Martin, Michael Gallup, and various Joe Looney. I mean, the list is endless when it comes to the type of players that you will. And not to mention, meet former Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders, alumni, and also it's just the embracement of Cowboys fans having a good time. And when it comes to the stadium tour, we all know what AT&T Stadium is like. When it comes to big shout out to our sponsor, Barry Griffith of Cowboys Experience as well. But if you are planning to go next year, be sure to use the code UK Cowboys and receive yourself a free gift. And in the words of Richard Jones himself, don't be a clown, get free stuff.
Free shit is what it's all about. And just to answer Mr. Austin Powers, we really hope so, mate. We really hope so. And just so you guys know that we are hoping to make it to America. Every time UK Cowboys come over, mate, are we treated like royalty or are we treated like royalty?
More beyond fucking royalty. I feel like a fucking
Beyond.
I'll be honest.
Beyond.
Mate.
Yeah.
But
do you know what? Do you know you was mentioning about Barry Griffiths, Paul? Barry was that eager to get us over. He asked the question. He said, okay, how much is a plane ticket? And do you want me to buy 6? Yeah. I was like, mate, no.
It's over. But no joke. He wanted this over. Like all of us.
Yeah.
He was pay for it. And I was like, no. It's not so much.
No, we can't do it.
Not so much the plane. It's the homeland security.
Yeah, everything.
Control. They are still shut down for international travel. So hopefully, when things start opening up, now the vaccines are coming out, we can start moving forward.
But also on the flip side, the Cowboys may come to London, so we get to take care of you guys if that's the case.
But I will say though, based on what Austin was saying, with you guys going to any plans next year? Well, I was planning.
We hope so.
I was planning going to the home season opener against Atlanta. Can you imagine what I must have been like if I was to go to that freaking game where we came back? Come on, with that special teams kick. Oh, I wish I
it would have been. It would have been. Oh, guys, look, but the best place to watch a Cowboys game in the UK is, the simple answer is, with UK Cowboys. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. But look, if it happens, you know that, as it did last time, there'll be a UK Cowboys fan bash with all the trimmings. It's literally, when the Cowboys come to London, it's not a tailgate party on the day. It's a week long. It's an entire week.
It's a celebration. It's a celebration of the World's
for a week.
Team.
For a week.
The World's team.
Yeah, I mean, like the Cowboys land in London like on the Wednesday, and from Wednesday till like the following Monday, it's just a party.
I'll tell you what, mate. What we should do is we should repost the original video of our 2014 video of the meet and greet party we had in the Barn Sports in London, and we had former Dallas Cowboys quarterback Danny White there. We had Orlando Scandrick.
Yeah.
We had the UK. We had the Dallas Cowboys podcast crew. We had Shannon Gross, David Hillman.
Yeah.
We had Elsie Charles.
It was that wild. It was that loud. Jamie Smith is on the line. Jamie Smith will tell you that the last UK Cowboys fan bash, when the Cowboys came to town, NFL UK tried to shut down the UK Cowboys party.
They were jealous.
It was that wild.
They were jealous because they cannot operate in that same level. NFL UK can go and suck a dick.
Boom. But before we go, we just want to shout out, and it's really, really important we do this, that in 2020 of course, man.
Be sure to be part of the Facebook group. We will post it on that, and our Facebook page. We will post it on that, and Twitter.
That 2020 hasn't been a great year. But one thing that has been great is everybody from episode 1, and we're on episode 97 now, all of you that have joined us, you have been our MVPs. The only reason we sit here and carry it on is the comments that we get, not just during the game, but post-game, people telling us that they enjoy listening to us. You guys are the only reason we keep going on. You are, as I keep saying every week, I posted up MVPs, 100%. It's not worth it. We can literally do this by doing what we do when we're not on the show, by talking during our chat. We have our own chat. But the only reason we do the live show, we spend money, we've got a sponsor and all the rest of it is only for you guys, and because we love you all so much and because you love us so much. So 2020, Dallas Cowboys have been great, but you guys have been better.
Absolutely. Austin, we will put it on our Twitter. If you can access our Twitter account, it's a public account. You should be able to access it. We'll post the link of the video so you can access it and check it out for yourself. This was from 2014. Needless to say, needless to say, I was a lot more skinnier back then.
but less beautiful.
Less beautiful. No, shut up, you. But what I will say is, guys, ever since we started going
2020.
to no, what I was going to say is, ever since we went to the live platform, you guys have actually helped this show massively. So from Alfie tonight, Austin, DJ Dog, Tim Warner, who he's been on a previous shows. Lorne, big massive shout out to you, my friend. You have been so hot with your comments this year, and Valenti, can't forget you as well, my friend. And honestly, guys, like
Ken Hughes, who was a big part of it all.
Big Ken as well. We can't forget Big Ken. Honestly, everyone is in the UK Dallas Cowboys group page. Honestly, you guys are the fucking VIPs. MVPs. And VIPs as well. VIPs.
And VIPs. Yeah.
Right. And obviously we need to give a shout out to the rest of our UK DC crew who are not here in attendance. So Brian Gaynor, Richard Jones, and of course our co-founding member Jamie Smith, and also
who's drunk right now.
And also our mother of the UK Cowboys DC, who is like not part of the show now, but she's still a big part of our group. Is Lord Draper Wood, who started this group.
LDW,
big shout out to her. So guys, like I said, from Mike, me, and Graham, you guys have been absolutely fucking amazing. So,
and here's to many more.
Exactly, here's to any more. And guys, from everyone's reactions, you've seemed to really enjoyed the live format so much more. And I can't believe we've actually went the two hour mark in this show for our pregame. And DJ Dog, he's from Aurora, Texas. Fucking like we said, like we
let us know.
We freaking love it. Like we freaking love the fact that you guys from Texas are coming into our show talking about Dallas Cowboys. Hold on a minute. So I'm trying to catch up with all the comments before we finish up here. So you can meet up with some fans.
Here's a good one. Is Gary is exactly the reason why we do the show. So you guys can all interact with each other. We're literally just a conduit for you guys to all talk to each other, and we love it. The only reason we do it is literally just to talk to you guys because we love it. We love seeing the interaction, even the arguments. Pre-game shout out, Brian, and the post game, just as important.
Yeah, I can only back on what the guys are saying. We love seeing all the comments. We love the interaction, and I also love that in the group we don't necessarily agree all the time. A lot of the times you can put Cowboys tinted glasses on and just pretend that everything's rosy, but everybody's got different opinions. We see loads of different opinions in the comments. But that creates discussion points. How boring would it be if we all sat here and said, the Cowboys are going to win every single week. The Cowboys are this, and that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with the team. We all want the exact same thing at the end of the day. We all want another Super Bowl for the Dallas Cowboys. We love seeing all the comments, and some of the banter has been amazing.
Exactly.
It's been brilliant.
I'll speak for all of us. It's like all of us all have our own viewpoints when it comes to I have my views on defense, I have my views on offense, and everyone has their own different intakes.
And they're always wrong.
True. We could be wrong. We could be. But the fact is, what makes the discussion point of the show, and we get our audience engaged, and we get their views, and we discuss about it as well. And this is what the whole show is all about. And and I will say before I finish off tonight is Brian, no fucking chance.
But I do want to say one thing. Is this, although this is the last pre-game show of the regular season, the post-game season all depends on what happens Sunday. If not, there will be a post-game season regardless next week to talk all about it and the season. After that, we get into the draft edition program on this show, which
special guests.
special guests are just out of this world. We've got everybody involved. We've even got some UK people involved. Joel will be back, a guy who Joel I got involved, who I spent time with in the Scout Academy. Me and him going through that together. We've got like literally anyone and everybody. Oh, there's a special guest for Tuesday. There we go.
Special guest for Tuesday. So, guys, be sure to check out the show on Tuesday, hosted by our very own Brian Gaynor. So, be sure to check out 9 p.m. UK, 4 p.m. Eastern, and 1 p.m. Pacific. So, be sure to check it out.
And obviously, that is another big shout I want to give out to before we leave in 2020. It's a big shout out to all our special guests. These guys mostly, literally 99% are from America. So these guys have literally got to work to our time scale, which can be a bit awkward sometimes, but they literally do it. We're talking Jane Slater, he's sunk a mad dog. Jane Slater, Brian Broaddus, David Hellman, Derek Eagleton, West Coast. Oh man, this is so many to go through. Shannon, who I have spoken to. Hopefully we'll get Shannon back.
Oh, don't worry. Shannon Ross will be back in the show. He will be back.
All right. He's just doing the dad thing right now.
Rob Phillips as well.
Rob Phillips.
Derek Eagleton.
Jane Slater.
Our main spot, Barry Gibson and Barry Griffith.
Barry Griffiths.
Kelsey Charles and Megan as well.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. There's just so many.
And we will have
RJ,
Yorkshire, especially
from Brog and the Boys.
And we will have some former Dallas Cowboys players on this show, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, that's right. There's hundreds who've joined us this week, and those guys just are as important. And we try and bring as many to you.
That's a great comment.
Oh, Jeff Reinbold. Jeff Reinbold
is our angel
legend.
Man. Even though he's a Raiders fan, but he's an absolute legend.
He shared the show tonight.
He did. Well, shut up.
Yeah, he does it every week. Jeff has. Yeah. We'll get Jeff. We'll get Jeff back on the show.
No chance that is happening.
Yeah. There's just some people.
If some people wants to come on this show, I will tell him to fuck off. To be fair, he is not.
But listen, guys, we'll have the draft edition coming after. The draft edition shows, depending on how far the Cowboys go during the playoffs, because they will make the playoffs. There was Taylor Stern. She was brilliant. She's ready to come back on the show as well, by the way. So there's that to go ahead. But draft edition show happens week. So you got Super Bowl Sunday. Draft edition starts that Thursday. We're into the draft edition then. We really need you guys to join in on that, because you can tell us if we're going right or wrong. There's a whole host of special guests, content going on. But for now, it is 2020. It was a shit fucking year. Fucking hated 2020. Damn you. If 2020 was a year, it'd be the Eagles. But for now, from UK Cowboys TV, from myself, from Paul, Graham, Jamie, Rich, who else am I missing? Brian. Hey. Sorry, I do apologize. Brian.
He's going to kick you in the balls for that now.
I'm going to have to send him something nice. But that is us. I know. Those beers, they're in the box right here. They're right here in the box. I just got to take it to the post office. Anyway, that is 2020, guys. We've loved all of you to a million pieces. We hope to do it all again. We'll see you all again soon. Have a great New Year's. We'll see you on Sunday, guys. Big love. How about them, Cowboys?
Have a nice holiday, guys. Happy New Year.
See you next time.
Happy new motherfucking year.